Okay, now we live. Um, Shout out to Ray Nell. What's good, homie? I used to see Ray Nell all the time. When I was working in the Bronx off of Bathgate, I was on Third Avenue, Bathgate Avenue, and I used to see Ray Nell come through driving that big bus. Shout out to the homie Ray Nell. That's been my dude since 109 and God Brewer, 1980. What? I don't want to tell our age, but this is
51 and 52.
Yeah,
You
51,
lie.
52. This is
You
Straight
lie.
No Chasers, the talk show. Myself and Libra Hart. Shout out to my dude Pop. What up, homie? Hey, yo, listen, Pop, man, call into the show, man. Talk your talk. We done did a lot of things together. We done had a lot of deep conversations, and we talk about people seem to think that crazy is defined by a person mumbling incoherently to themselves or walking down the street with a shopping cart or well, first let me just say this. Crazy is a term it's an umbrella term. It's a term that's used to describe. Shout out to my dude John Wigfall. Yeah, bruh, we supposed to link up today. I'll get back to you. Crazy is a term that is used to describe a number of mental disorders, a number of things that have a clinical diagnosis and a clinical term. But since we as just regular, laymen, we as just regular folks, we don't know the exact term. You don't know if someone is bipolar. You don't know if they suffer from PTSD. You don't know the particular mental illness they suffer from. So we just tend to say, "Oh, they crazy," because we don't understand it. But crazy is a often misused word because some of the most intelligent people, some of the most educated, learned people may seem crazy to us because the things that they're talking about we can't identify with. Or if they say they have a feeling, they have a premonition, they have this epiphany about particular things happening, and then the things happen, it's like, whoa, that's some witchcraft, that's some voodoo. People get they become afraid of things that they don't know about. And we're to talk about the intricacies of going out of your mind. Like, exactly what does it mean? I'm asking Libra Hart, and I'm asking everybody else.
Wait, I think people take offense when you say going out of your mind.
Well, elaborate on that. When you say they take offense, why? Why should they?
Because they're not going out of their mind. They have an ailment, an issue going on. They're not going out of their mind.
But if you don't know what the issue is, if you don't know what the ailment is, then it's like, yo, you went crazy. Like, fuck wrong with you? Because people don't understand it.
People don't have to understand. The person going through it has to understand it first.
Well, does that person even understand what's really going on with them? Because I've heard people say, I don't get it. I don't know what's wrong with me. Just like, lately.
In the beginning, I'm sure.
Okay, do they go to a doctor? Like, how does it work? Because people will say,
everybody is different. Some people will immediately go to a doctor. They got some great medical plan. That goes straight to the doctor. Other people will try and figure it out themselves.
Well, it seems like black people especially, or people of color, right, have an aversion to any type of psychiatric help.
I've noticed that.
If you tell someone, maybe you need to talk to someone about this. Maybe you need to seek a therapist. I ain't fucking crazy. I don't need no damn shrink. I don't need to sit on no couch talking about, well, it all started when I was 4 years old and blase, blase, blase. Why do you think people of color have an aversion to actually telling their deeper, most inner thoughts or feelings to someone sitting on the couch taking notes?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, to sit there and tell somebody else, to try and explain to somebody else what's going on in your head, and you don't understand what's going on in your head, to a complete stranger, I think people get not better. I think people get their therapy when things are going on in their heads by speaking to their peers, to their friends, to people they trust. I think they prefer that rather than going to, a complete stranger.
Well, wouldn't that be like a confirmation bias? Whereas they tend to listen to what the friend, like, they want to hear Ain't nothing wrong with you. Oh, please, that's just regular shit.
No, I said friend, honey.
No, I said, well,
I said friend. I said an actual friend. An actual friend is going to tell you exactly what it is. They're not going to sugarcoat it. They're going to tell you. They're going to tell you what you want to hear.
you know what's funny? Because someone posted up on Facebook, I think yesterday, and forgive me if I don't remember who posted it, but they asked people, this was the question. They asked people, they said, and it was about women. They said, how many of you ladies actually check your friends on their whole behavior, right? And when they have a good man. I may have said it sometime in the past, but the way that this person worded it was like, how many of y'all check y'all friends that have a good man, but they still continue to, be like on some real hoe shit. And a few ladies was like, well, I don't have friends like that. A few ladies were like, hell yeah, I check them, because you're not going to have that type of activity around me, especially if I'm cool with your husband. And I know that you're doing these things. And
there's the rule that you're judged by the company you keep.
Exactly. And some women, the majority of women said, nope, because, after you try to check them or tell them exactly what you see them doing wrong and how it could be detrimental to their whole image and their spirituality, all of a sudden, fuck you, mind your business. You ain't perfect. Like, the friends will turn on the friend because everybody can't take constructive criticism. So if someone's trying to tell you, yo, listen, bro, you got a good chick at home. I don't know why you out there running around in these chicks' faces doing this, doing that. Your chick is down for you. You owe her. The least you owe her is to not be out here doing whatever you doing. And you doing it like you don't even care. A dude will turn around and be like, man, mind your fucking business. You act like you ain't never do this. You act like this. Instead of accepting the criticism as a positive thing, they would rather just be like, man, fuck that. So when we witness that, when we witness people straight out reject us and we got all good intentions, it's like, well, damn, if you're not going to respect me coming from me, maybe you'll respect it coming from someone else. There's a bunch of women out there where if you go down in my history, and like on Facebook, I've said the same shit Steve Harvey said. Same shit. And it's women.
And I sent you one of them.
And there's women out here that's saying, oh, that's right. Steve Harvey said it. See, I said that shit 10, 15 years ago.
But you're not Steve Harvey.
And see, but this is my point.
That's the issue.
So when you say your good friends trying to check you on something or try to pull you up on your behavior, it's like, who are you to tell me? So my thing is, I think it would be easier for a professional to ask particular questions because they don't really have a bias. They don't know you.
No, I agree with you.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. I do agree with you. You should go to someone that doesn't have a bias. That's, completely neutral. Switzerland, neutral.
Wow. Okay.
But again, my reason you asked me why the people don't go. I'm thinking that they don't go because they would prefer to speak to a friend of theirs.
Oh, okay. Well, I see.
I don't know this for a fact.
But it's a good speculation.
We
got the doctor, Milo Edwards, is tuned in via my phone. Milo, the number is 929-227-4646. 929-227-4646. I know that you got to go out of your mind because of that wife that you got. And I know she's probably listening on another device or somewhere in your house. Shout out to Sheila Edwards. I know, Milo, oh, man, the spirit of Big Shoe. Boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Now, I'm just joking. That's Sheila and Milo are the homies all the way from California. Got to give him much respect. He's called into the show many times and offered some very, very sound advice. So I have to shout out Milo and Sheila Edwards.
But back to your subject.
Yeah, back to the subject.
I'm one of those people. I know that there are times in my life, one of them that you're privy to most recently, that I think I might need some therapy. But I don't want to go to a stranger.
Why not?
I don't want to sit there and, okay, tell me what's the problem. If I knew what the problem was, I wouldn't be sitting here with you.
Well, would you agree that you can know what the problem is but not have a solution?
I can agree that I would know what the problem is, but don't know how to verbalize it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how to verbalize it.
You feel a certain way, and it's hard to describe the actual feeling.
Exactly.
Well, you know what?
It's easier for me to, let's say, sit down and talk to you, sit down and talk to, I don't know, my cousin, my girl, who knows me and can offer constructive criticism.
But then how do you convey what's going on to myself or to your cousin or anyone else that you know? How are you able to convey it to us, but you can't convey it to the professional?
Because you all know the situation. If there's a situation
The professional will know once you tell them.
oh no, we'd have to go all the way back. And you know they want to talk about your childhood and everything.
But because that's where everything stems from. Like a lot of look, I know for a fact a lot of my issues stem from my childhood, things that I've seen, things that I've heard, just my overall environment. Certain things were normal for me at say 7 or 8 years old that would be catastrophic. You know what I'm saying? For maybe someone 14 years old. But when you grow up and you see things day in, day out, it becomes normal to where when you actually encounter people that have never seen what you saw, they call you crazy. So, man, you must be crazy. What? Nah, hell no. You ain't seen. I'm telling you, I saw it. It happened. Hell no, man, that shit is crazy. Because they can't get a grip on it. You know what I'm saying? And so many times in certain situations, and I was telling you this while we were downstairs. I said I don't like crowds. I don't like, a whole bunch of people assembled, whatever. I mean, in a sporting event, something that's different, but like clubs and stuff like that. I said, because I've been in the midst of many shootouts. I've had friends of mine die right in front of me because I ran and they ducked and they just got caught. And luckily I didn't get caught. And, I had the experience of going back to tell their loved ones, well, hey, where's my brother? Oh, well, I got to tell you something. Because they saw him and I leave together and I came back. And so I had to explain these things because I've explained the death of more than 5 of my friends to their family because I was the one that was with them. It became like nothing. Like, yo, yeah, we was together, so and so and so. Man, I made it. You know what I'm saying? He didn't. And it became normal for me. But that's not normal.
No.
And so, in turn, I became insensitive to things that other people would go through where a normal person would be like, oh, my God, wow, I really feel bad. But for me, it's like, this is an everyday occurrence. And that's a detriment to friendship and relationships at times because I'm just so nonchalant about things that is a big deal to someone else.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You feel me? Because to me, it's not a real big deal because I've seen some shit that's a big deal, a huge deal. You feel me? And it's not I lack compassion. It's not like I don't have any empathy.
You just don't sweat the small stuff in your brain.
Yeah, in my brain, exactly. But that might be crazy when it comes to somebody else. I want Milo Edwards, can you call in? The number's 929-227-4646. 929-227-4646. Exactly. Leap Heart, while we at it, right? I like to put the focus on you real quick.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I know, that's why I like to put the focus so you get the heebie-jeebies. In your life and times, right? You've seen many people that you may have knew when you were younger, and as an adult, it's like they're just completely different. It's like, well, damn, what happened? I remember when they were young, they was straight laced, they was cool. She had the guys used to go crazy over her, or the women went crazy over him, and whatever case may be. And now it's like they're the person walking down the block pushing the shopping cart. Or they're the person looking in the garbage.
Yeah, but
food.
That's from what I can remember. That's drugs.
Has it been drugs?
I know one woman in particular who was married to. She was crazy about this guy, and they got married, and drugs came into play, and she used to come into the proper, and she was a beautiful girl. Redbone, they call him Redbone.
Yeah, y'all, Redbone.
I'm yellow.
Okay.
Got yellow undertones, but yeah, they winded up obviously after all that, getting a divorce. But she came in, she was, had a few kids, and she kept coming in, and now she's, not the person that I had once met, that I had once known.
And you think it's the drugs?
No, that was the drugs.
Oh, okay. Well, we have a caller on the line. We want to tap into that. Caller, you're live on the air. State your name. Where you calling from?
Milo Elwes, Los Angeles, California.
Hey, what up, Mr. Milo? Listen, I know your other half is in the background saying something slick about me, but it's all cool. I got love for her.
Actually, she's not here right now. She has the unfortunate circumstance of her father being ill, and he's in the hospital, so she's at the hospital. Her dad is 97 years old now.
Oh,
He's lived a long, beautiful life.
Well, bless him and
Yes,
hope that he gets well. So kicking off in terms of what we were talking about in terms of the definition of, or not the colloquial usage of the word crazy, and the actual diagnosis and sometimes misdiagnosis of people, and especially in your field, you could probably give some real deep insight.
Well, when it comes to the word crazy, I've removed the word crazy from my vocabulary because crazy is very dismissive to just write someone off as crazy. We all have challenges, and some of our challenges may not make sense to other people, but they make sense to us. And just because we have challenges that don't make sense to some people doesn't mean that we're crazy. We have people out here that are experiencing a lot of mental health issues, and these mental health issues cause them not to seek help. And in the black community, there's such a stigma attached to having a mental health issue or wanting to talk to somebody. Because as soon as you go and talk to a therapist, people want to become dismissive and call you crazy. But what you really need is someone outside of your normal environment to discuss some things with, that may be able to give you a different perspective on what you're going through and can assist you with coming up with a plan to help you. Now, I heard the young lady that's right there with you say earlier, she'd rather talk to a friend than a therapist because she don't want to go back and talk about all the stuff with her childhood, this, that, and the other, and the therapist really doesn't know her. She doesn't want to go and talk to a stranger. But sometimes it's that stranger that you need to talk to get a new perspective on what's going on in your life, because all you may need to do is change the narrative. A lot of us get stuck on the narrative, and we have a friend that has the same narrative, and you can't find a decent solution in that because y'all stuck on that same stuff. It's a gerbil running on the wheel, and you're not getting anywhere.
Let me ask you something.
I work in a psychiatric hospital, and I work with the sickest of the sick. And every day I go in there and I have to try to assist them in making sense of what's going on in their head, the voices that they're hearing, why their parents abused them, why their husband abused them, why they turned around and killed their own kids. So it's a lot of things that I have to try to assist them in making sense out of it.
How do you as a professional, how do you as a professional, because I'm curious, remove, or if you remove your own emotions from the things that you may hear and not carry that as extra baggage with you?
You have to differentiate where your responsibility begins and ends. My responsibility begins and ends with me. I can't carry that load for them. They're carrying that load. Now, I can assist them in trying to develop a plan to help them carry that load, but I don't carry that load. And there are some times that it really bothers me. And I was telling Sheila about it. About 2 months ago, was a young lady came in, and she was 20 years old. And when I looked at this young black woman, I don't say African American because I'm not African American. I'm a black man in America. I was born and raised in Illinois. I've never even been to Africa. I don't separate myself like that. But I'm a human being. We're all human beings, and once we start treating one another as human beings, we can get further along in a peaceful place of happiness. But when I saw this young lady, I came home and I cried. I cried about 3 times that day because here's a young woman that looked like she could be my child, and I have children. So, yeah, that day, that was pretty tough for me. But, you know, those patients that I have that have killed their children, killed their husbands, and things of that nature, once you know, a lot of people, you'll hear that, and it's a real tragic thing. It's really tragic. It's really horrible. But if you look at a lot of their lives and what happened in their life, you can just see how it led up to the point of them doing such an egregious thing. You can actually see it, and you no longer you can't be angry at them for it. You just, because it has already happened, so you have to try to help them work through it.
Let me ask you something, Milo. When you do you deal with teens, preteens, children? Like, what's the age level of the person that you deal with?
At this time, I'm dealing with all adult females. But I have worked in an inpatient hospital where I dealt with everyone from the age of 6 on up to in their 70s and 80s. The youngest person that I've ever dealt with that attempted suicide by hanging was a 6-year-old kid.
Wow.
Yeah, and did you even know how to tie a knot when you were 6 years old? That was the first question I asked myself.
How you not? Wow.
And what the hell could you see at 6 years old that make you be ready to leave this earth, that makes you want to kill?
I'm going to ask you that because as young people, they're still trying to find out and discover certain things about life and in their life, just the existence of this whole world and what it means. And for a child that's from 6 years old to 10 years old, let's just say, what the hell, in from your experiences, what the hell happened that drove them to that particular point? And they've only been here a few years. I know about adults that have had prolonged abuse, you know, over the course of 10, 15 years, and they've gotten to a point where they can't take it anymore, or life is not worth living, so on and so forth. Even women that have postpartum depression, you know, hormonal changes, you know, different things have altered the chemical and, you know, the chemical balance in their brain, a whole lot of stuff. But you being a doctor, what happens to a 6-year-old that makes them say, I don't want to be here anymore? They only been there 6 years.
Yeah, but they don't know how to deal with it. During our first 5 years, which is our formative years, all we really want is hug me, feed me, kiss me, let me play, let me sleep. And we do that over and over again, you know, as our brain is starting to develop. When we reach like around the age of 6, our brain is still developing. The human brain doesn't totally develop until you're like 25, 27.
Wow.
So a lot, yeah, that's why when you was a teenager, you did all that stupid stuff. Yeah, the brain wasn't developed. You couldn't make good choices at that time, really. But at the age of 6, we start to see things and we remember it. We know we listen to what the adults say around us. We have a broader vocabulary, and we know who they're saying is no good, who's dressed dirty, who's poor, who stink, and all the judgment stuff starts at the age of 6. Between the ages of 6 and 10, we just consume information. You just gathering and gathering and gathering, and you don't really know what to do with the information. But also during the time between the ages of 6 and 10, being that you can remember all these things and you have visualized a lot of things, you start being traumatized. You know when your uncle wasn't supposed to touch you like that. You know something's wrong with it, but you're not quite sure, and you feel funny about it. And some people can deal with that and hold on long enough to realize what happened and straighten it out, and some of them can't. So something happened to that 6-year-old kid that he could not even deal with at 6 years old, and he was ready to die. So that's pretty much what happened. But you'll find a lot of people that really get into drugs and things of that nature, they've been in a house where they've been traumatized continuously. They've been abused verbally, physically, sexually molested, and all of that. So when you get around 10 years old, now let's look at this, you get around 10, 11 years old, now you have some ability to use abstract reasoning to try to solve your problems or take a new view of the things that have happened to you. So now you look back and you know when your uncle touched you, that really was wrong. That was fucked up. And your parents beat you. You know what? Everybody in the world don't live like that. That was screwed up too. So now you 10, 11, or 12, and you remember your uncle been molesting you for 3 years from age 6 to 9. You really want to tell the family, but you don't want to tell the family, especially if you're a little boy. Because now they're going to say you all, and little girls too, because they're going to say, you're lying, Oh, if it's a little boy, they're going to say you gay. You must have been wanting to mess with your uncle. Or if you're a little girl, they're going to say your little fast ass was just trying to mess with your uncle. Now you're lying. So it disrupts the whole family. So instead of disrupting the whole family, what do? They start to self-soothe. And they don't want to, they can't tell anybody. They got to hold it in. In that self-soothing, they start using drugs. Now they just started drinking a little alcohol or smoking a little weed just to make it through the day and deal with the thoughts of what has happened to them. Well, that little bit of drug use and to cope with what has happened in that past turns into a habit. Now that habit, they're a kid, they don't have no job. Now they got to steal. Now they stealing, now they robbing, now they someone fooling around, they done killed somebody, or they get caught and they go to juvie, or they end up in jail. At this point in time, and this is where a lot of mental illness comes from too. A lot of depression, a lot of anxiety, a lot of PTSD. PTSD is not only the people that's been in the military.
That's right.
You know,
that is so
it's
true.
Most of the people that suffer PTSD walks in your community with you every day.
Wow.
So I don't want to keep talking on and on and on. I could talk about this stuff for hours, man.
No, Libra Hart wanted to say something to you.
People tend to believe that PTSD is only military. And I actually had a conversation with someone and explained, you know, it's not just the military. I think it became prevalent because of the military. But no, it's not. No, it's definitely not because of the military. You can have PTSD from many of the things that you just discussed.
Yeah, and Todd could have PTSD from all the times that he's been in the clubs over hanging out and he's seeing his friends get shot.
Yeah, I know I do. I know there's certain times where I will have anxiety, right? Let me break it down. There's certain times where I will have anxiety where, like, I consider myself where I can sense danger. You feel me?
Yeah.
Or I've witnessed people 52 fake someone out. You know, they tell you this and you believe that, and there's some other shit that comes behind it. So I don't trust nothing that I don't know. You know, and I'm overly aggressive towards that, because if I'm walking in the street and the guy's like, excuse me, nah, I can't help you. You know why? Because I remember watching this in disbelief, and this is a true ass story. I'm standing with a friend of mine, right? That he's a stick-up kid, but he's a friend of mine. But that's what he does. He robs people. But he's my man, so I'm not worried about him robbing me. That's my homie. And we were talking one day. If anybody out there that knows Sutphin Boulevard, I was on Sutphin and Linden Boulevard. And I'm standing on the corner talking to my dude. He got his gun on him, whatever, as he always has. And we look down the block, and we see this other dude. And we could see further enough that we could almost, like, basically read their lips. He asked the guy for directions. And the guy's pointing to him, telling him where to go. And the dude pulled his gun out and said, keep your hand up. You already know what this is. So he's robbing dude. Like, really not that far away from me and my friend. So my friend is like, oh, hell no. Don't nobody rob nobody on my block. I'm the only person that robs people on my block. So my friend that watched the other dude rob dude, when dude put his gun in his waist and walked off kind of brisk, my dude ran over to him, grabbed his waist where he knew he had put the gun. We saw him put the gun in his waist, and he robbed him of the gun and the money that he just robbed from the next dude. That's normal to me. Like, witnessing
That's
that.
Normal to you?
It's normal because, listen, this is my man. He's a stick-up kid. That's what he does. He robs drug dealers.
Well, it becomes normal because you witnessed it over and over again. I'm from East St. Louis, Illinois. I think I witnessed my first murder when I was age 8. I was in the park. I saw a man get shot in the back 3 times. And I've seen other murders since then. So now when I hear cars backfire, anything like that, I don't move. I don't flinch. I'm not fazed by a lot of that because it's not normal, but it's something that becomes ingrained in us to where we don't react the way that what people consider normal would act.
And
it's more of an acceptance. It's an acceptance of this is what goes on. People die every day. Right now we're sitting here talking. Someone's being robbed. Some woman is being molested. Someone is being strangled. Someone's house is burning down and they can't get out. There's tragedy going on all around us. Now, tragedy is normal.
Uh-huh.
It may be abnormal within individual families because in individual families, and some individual families, only a few things happen here and there. But, something that's happened to the extent where you said you've had to go home and explain to at least 5 people, different people, that their son ain't coming home because y'all was out and something happened.
Yeah, I've had to explain to my mother.
It's never normal,
things.
but it's never normal. But we normalize it because we've become used to it.
Have you been accused of being insensitive towards things or not as dramatic as someone thought you should be?
Yeah, and I have been accused of that, but it's not that I'm insensitive. I empathize with people and everything that people go through, but very rarely do I feel sympathy. I don't see a place for sympathy a lot of times. Most of the times it's empathy that another person needs. But, sympathy, what does sympathy do for you? Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, poor baby. Sympathy. No, I don't do a lot of that. I will admit that in those moments where people become sympathetic, I will say that, it's very unfortunate that such a thing happened to you. That is terrible. I cannot even imagine how you feel. But if you want to talk to me about it, maybe we can come up with a plan for you to work through that.
Let me ask you something, right? And this is something you have a question?
I want to ask a question.
Uh-huh.
Do you have children?
Yes, I do. I have 3 kids.
Okay. How do you, with your job and the way it is and things that you know, how do you deal with your children? And if like
all my kids are grown.
Okay.
And my kids, before I even had this job, and before I went back to school to get my doctorate, my kids was grown. But even as my kids was growing up, I never spanked my kids. I never laid a hand on my kids. I always talked to them, And I didn't realize until once I started to do my study and do my research, I was like, wow, I'm so glad I always talked to my kids. I said now, and I used to tell them, they would tell me what they did. They're grown now. They'll still call me and tell me, I did such and such and such. And I'll say to them what I've always said to them. Now, you know what you did was wrong, right? And they'll say, yeah. I say, okay, how you going to fix it?
Okay.
And I work with them. I work with them from there.
So
I don't talk to my kids about the work that I do much. It's traumatic enough. I don't want to, because you know what? You can get PTSD. Back to PTSD. You can get PTSD from listening to a lot of bad stories. Police officers get PTSD just from going to scenes of crime and seeing people all shot up and their heads missing and things like that. So I don't pass on the details of the traumatic stuff that I experienced at work. I don't even come home and tell my wife.
Okay, so you didn't have this job when you were raising the children.
No.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I assumed
but
you
at
did.
the time, I very easily could have. I was on the end of seeing people get killed when I had my kids. I was on the end of seeing people get beat half to death when I was raising my kids. So I always taught my kids to be safe, always be respectful of people. I always taught my kids love, honor, and respect. That was the one thing that I always gave them. Okay. I didn't have a lot of money to give my kids, but the things that I have given my kids is priceless. Now my kids are homeowners. My daughter has her master's in accounting and marketing finance. My other daughter is a nurse. My son is wiggling his way through it all. So my kids are doing fine.
You saying wiggling his way? Is he still
wiggling? Look at it, like his daddy, wiggling his way through it all, trying to figure it out. Not everybody jumps on that straight path and just go leave the house, go to school, get a job, work somewhere 30 years, and retire. Some of us take a path that is not what people consider normal. And I think a lot of people that take that path that is so-called normal loses out, because what's normal in the United States for a black man ain't shit.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
It's foul. It's foul as hell. And you're just going to end up being a janitor nowhere. No disrespect to janitors. It's an honest paying job, an honest day's work, honest day's pay. But, there's limits to stuff, and you get stuck in that limit. in limited situations, then you end up with some limited thinking. And then here you are, a child coming from a home and a family that is experienced 5 generations of poverty. You don't even know how to get out of poverty. Because once you get turn 18, they tell you to go down there, get some welfare, and they show you how to work the system instead of trying to work your way out of that system.
Let me ask you something, right? When it comes down to children knowing things and not knowing things, I think that both parents play a pivotal role in a child's life. Me specifically, I want to turn this around so everybody can see.
Yes,
me
please.
specifically, I've always had an issue with. I'm not going to say problem with, because I never tried to reverse it. I can't take orders from, and I won't take orders from any man. Now I can follow direction. You can lead me. I've had supervisors, and the supervisor can tell me, okay, I need you to do X, Y, Z, so on, so on, so on, so. Okay, cool. And I may ask a follow-up question. You sure you want it done this way? Remember, we got to do this. And then he'll counteract that, with a response, right? That's a dialogue. He's the supervisor. Right. He's the one that's in charge. He knows more, and he's giving me the direction in terms of this is what he needs done. When given an order, it requires you to not think. It requires you to just follow the order. That's it. This is why everyone that wears a uniform follows orders. It's in the term uniform, everyone is the same, or up until certain levels. But then everybody that's a corporal, everybody that's a rookie, everybody that has this uniform on, you follow orders. You get your orders. You don't worry about why this, that, and other. That's not your job. We're not paying you to think. We're paying you to do. And I have a problem with that because I never had a man in my life that I had to follow orders from. I always had to think for myself, because if I had a dilemma, if I had a problem, my grandfather would tell me certain things. When I was younger, my stepfather would guide me on particular things. But as an adult, or say a teenager, late teens, and going into adulthood, there was no man that I trusted entirely to just do as he said and not question it with the trust that it was going to turn out the right way, because I watched how he lived his life. And now I can say, well, I'm going to just do whatever he says, because look at how he is. He must be giving me the gospel, or he must be telling me the truth. So just follow orders. Never had that. And that's why I can't follow or won't follow orders. And nobody can son me. There's not one man out there that's ever tried to take me under his wing. And you can't son me, because if you tell me, yo, such and such and such, why? That doesn't make any sense. That's stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm using my logic and my sense of discernment. And in your opinion, is it beneficial to have someone in your life, whether it's male or female, because it's for, women and men, whether you're a daughter or whether you're a son, to have that person that you just don't question, you just follow their order?
Yeah, it is, but then at some point that can become a problem. And because, we do that as kids. We follow orders. We follow our parents' orders because we trust them. But then sometimes as you grow up, you realize your parents have lied to you. And you'll put it together too. You'll be like, you know what? Mama told me such and such and such. That was a damn lie. That shit will piss you off, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your nigga told you a damn lie. Because I'm going to tell you, a lot of parents out there, they be lying to their kids and manipulating their kids. And, there's, and I brought the mother up in this because a number of times I've seen how the mother can really mess some stuff up when she tell the kids stuff about their daddy if he's not around. But we put trust in our parents, and we put trust in our older siblings to lead us in the right direction. And a lot of times they will lie to us and lead us in the wrong direction.
They sugarcoat it. They sugarcoat it.
Now we can take that back to what you all was talking about talking to friends. With women, do they check their girlfriend if she got a good man and she treating that man wrong? But see, the girl, you talking to your girlfriend about it, and your girlfriend is biased. she's lying. She gonna tell you some stuff what she believes in. Some of it be some lies.
No, I have a
And
girlfriend that actually plays devil's advocate. I have a
Oh, that's
girlfriend
good.
in my office, and she plays devil's advocate because she knows how I am. And I'll tell her a story, and she'll say, well, Sandy, I'm not taking sides, but could it be that this, that, and the third? She does it all the time. All the time. I want to hate her. I don't. I do. I do. It's like, really, you're supposed to be on my side.
But she, in fact, that she is.
Hell no.
No, what I'm saying, in fact, she's not condoning certain things.
Right.
No, she's not.
Right.
She's sitting there. Okay, you know what? Let me play devil's advocate. And I've had a few friends in my lifetime that play devil's advocate. I have another girlfriend of mine that I've known since I guess she was 12 and I was 13, or 13 and 14, whatever the case is. She is not going to sit there and tell me something just because that's what I want to hear. She won't.
And that's very good. But you know what? And you're fortunate to have friends like that. But a lot of people don't have friends like that. They have people that they think is their friend, and their friend really wants them to fail. So they're rejoicing in you messing it up. Or they're so selfish that, you know, you having this man in this good relationship is cutting into you all's club time, or just go to lunchtime and all of that, and they want to have you to have some problems, so they
that's
can
in
have
20,
their
30, and
lives
40-year-olds.
more fulfilling. Because that's a sickness there. There's what we deal with. Most of what we deal with within society is personality disorders and conflict in communication styles, and a lot of selfishness. You know, there's a lot of, you look at Donald Trump on TV, but there's people that you know that's just like Donald Trump. They don't give a damn. They don't give a damn about you and what's going on in your life. They know what they want, and they're gonna say whatever they need to say to get it.
I've said at times before that you have so-called friends that are parasitic.
Yeah.
And I've had a few, you know, so-called friends. That's why I don't really rock with too many people on a friendship level. Parasitic, they want to see you succeed because while you're succeeding, right, they are leeching off of you. They're seeing every move that you've made, every tactical maneuver. They're watching. Well, he did it like this, and then he did it. So they want you to succeed. You feel me? Because then they don't really have to do the work. Just copy what you do. And then once you've reached, I'm not gonna say the epitome of success, but once they've got it down pat, like they got the mechanism, the blueprint, I don't need him no more. I'm good.
So you just said it. The blueprint.
Yeah.
Who do you know? Who do you know? Album, the CD was the blueprint. Jay-Z. I know somebody else did it before Jay-Z, but Jay-Z learned the music business from the people that was around him. And after he got all the information that he needed to move where he was going, ain't nothing wrong with that. You can't get mad at somebody if they hang around you and sponge up your game, and then they go and take your game and apply some other stuff to it and take it to the next level.
But do you have
do they take?
Can't get mad.
But do they take the friends that they sponged off with him? I think that was your point.
Well, if they do, I don't know. I don't know what Jay-Z did as far as the people that he learned from. I don't know how their relationship is now. I would hope that it's still good, and that he thanked them for what they assisted him with, and if they needed assistance with something else, that he reached back and helped them, and also help others. I would hope that he did that.
Okay,
but
Milo,
that is one story that I'm familiar with, how he got his success. He got information from a bunch of others that he knew.
Milo, let me ask you a question. And you're transitioning from one, I'm trying to pull it in the most palatable way, and you're transitioning in from one particular experience in life to another experience. At one time, did you ever sit down amongst your homies and say, look, bro, I'm tired of this here. This shit here is not working. It got to be something out here better for me, you, us. It got to be something out here different, man, because we dead end. It's not going nowhere, bro. I gotta make a change. You feel me?
All the time. All the time.
How many?
And they looked at me, Todd. They looked at me like, nigga, you crazy.
Was it
Nigga,
like
you crazy?
remember, remember
I
the
don't even
movie?
like you. I don't even like using the word nigga that much. But sometimes when you say something,
Yeah.
you just gotta say it just how it is. This nigga out done lost his damn mind. And now them same dudes call me every time they get a problem.
You know what comes to mind? I remember the movie Sugar Hill, and it was Romello and Ray Nathan Scuggs, and Romello, you know, which is the older brother, had enough of the game. He was tired of the killing, tired of it. Was his world was chaotic. It was crazy, and he was like, "Man, I can't do it no more. I'm leaving it." And when he told his younger brother, the younger brother said, "What am I gonna do without you? Like I don't know how to transition." Some people are only or they feel they can only be one way. They can only be one way. I'm a thug. I'm always be a thug. And actually having to put down a gun and use the pen and paper as a weapon is real scary because it's uncharted territory for them.
Yeah, and then a lot of them have people around them that aren't promoting that to put the pen to the paper. They saying you gotta eat, you gotta eat, you gotta eat. You know, a lot of people don't want to go through the struggle. You know, on my way to where I'm at now, I worked at a grocery store, not just 3 years ago.
Oh, word?
I worked at a grocery store, Todd. I stacked shelves from midnight to 8 in the morning.
Okay.
Well, that's what I did.
I
worked at the grocery store. I did not sleep on Wednesday. On Tuesday night, I got up at 10 o'clock. I went to the grocery store, Sprouts Farmers Market in Culver City, California, and I worked there from midnight to 8 in the morning, stocking shelves. And I would leave there and go to CBS Studios in West Hollywood, and I worked on the show X Factor or American Idol or whatever was going on that day from 10 in the morning to like 4 in the afternoon, and I would leave there and go to class from 6 to 10 on Wednesday night. I didn't sleep on Wednesdays for about a year and a half.
What was your job on the CBS Studios?
Oh, I used to do stand-in work, you know, while they're doing the rehearsals. You know, it's me and a group of friends. We would do the rehearsals because the actors or the announcers and everybody aren't there. They don't show up for all the rehearsals. So we did all the rehearsals. And at that time, the rehearsals paid like $25 an hour.
Okay.
So
not bad.
That was my job. And then I just worked this weekend. I just worked at the Grammys. Even though I'm a doctor, I like money. You know, they called me asking what they called me asking me would I work at Grammys? Sure. Y'all signing checks? I'll be down there. I went down there and did
I want to work the Grammys. I want to work the Grammys.
Listen,
I was on stage talking to Alicia Keys, doing the rehearsal and all that.
Okay.
So I will still do that work because, you know, I need me some money.
Well, see, that's a hustle, and I think a lot of people don't know how to transition hustles. And I remember a gentleman said to a bunch of people, he said, in order to survive in New York City specifically, you have to have the drive of a crackhead. And he said you could put a crackhead in the middle of any inner city in the United States, dead broke, at 12 p.m. He said by 3 p.m. they're gonna be high because they have such a drive that they will do any and everything to get what they need to get. Any and everything. It's one thing about having a woman on your show. We're still gonna keep it running, but bathroom breaks are frequent when you have a lady on your show. Bathroom breaks are frequent. So it's just gonna be me and you right now for a minute, right, Milo?
That's wrong.
Yeah,
you know what? I've been looking forward to get the opportunity to come and sit down and be on your show and talk with you.
Well, whenever you travel to New York,
most of the time I'll be busy. Sheila be talking. I mean, I'll be up in my office writing something or trying to doing some research, trying to figure out ways to help my patients. So overcome that. Well, not overcome because a lot of the sicknesses they have, they can't overcome. But to help them live with their mental illness in a healthiest manner as possible.
But you see, here's the thing, right? Sheila's from New Orleans, right?
Yep.
It's kind of
She's raised out here. She's raised out of here. In South
okay, but
Texas.
it's kind of I'm going somewhere. It's kind of hot down there, and it's kind of nice weather in California. You know what the windy city of Illinois feel like, and what the temperature. So the East Coast weather don't bother you because if you bring it up to Sheila, she gonna say, "Oh no, we got to come when it's hot." Because she used to that weather.
Yeah.
See, you done dealt with all kind of weather, so you good whether it's snow on the ground or whether it's 80 degrees. You can acclimate. So when we talk about y'all coming through to New York, whenever y'all do visit and coming and being actual guests, sitting down on the show, I know it has to be when the temperature's much warmer.
Actually, I like when I go back east nowadays. I don't like the summer. It's too hot for me. I don't like that. I could deal with it if I had to. If the money was involved.
Yeah.
But
well, we ain't. I ain't got no Grammy plug. I ain't got no Grammy plug. So I don't know how much extra work.
But I like it. I'm gonna tell you what I like. I like coming back that way during the fall because I truly enjoy seeing the leaves change color.
Gotcha.
I love to see the orange, the red, the yellow, and all of that. I love seeing the leaves like that.
That's nature. That's nature. Let me ask you something, right? When it comes down to, because we on the topic of people going out of their mind. There's I don't know where the saying came from, but music calms the savage beast. Do you ever use music, right, in your therapeutic sessions?
No, I don't. But my partner does. She's a music therapist. She actually is licensed for music therapy. Now, there is one of my patients that I guess you just made me think of it. I guess I have used music therapy with her because she'll start talking. She don't like black people. She don't like white people, but she talks to me. She don't see me as all black, but she loves. She don't. This is mental illness, man. This is what we're dealing with out here. But she loves Tupac.
Wow.
So she'll say, well, Tupac, she said, I like Tupac. I don't like the way he lived his life because that's how he got in trouble and he got killed. But he fought for women. He stood up for women and he said good stuff about women. Mm-hmm. And I thought, like, yeah, he did that. I said, you know what? I never did the way he lived his life either. And so from time to time, if I know I'm going to see her one day, mm-hmm. I'll make sure I listen to some pop before I go see her.
Wow.
And I say, well, Tupac said, and she'll be like, he did? I'll be like, yeah. I say, it's on such and such song. And she'll listen to it, and she'll be like, the next time I see her, she'll be like, yeah, I listened to that Tupac song. And, I use that during therapy. So that is a form of music therapy right there, yeah.
One of my friends and also one of the guests that was on this show, I want to say he wasn't a gang member. He is a present gang member, high-ranking gang member in the East Coast Bloods. And he's had some notorious stories. It's documented. He was on, I think it was Delaware's Most Wanted. He was actually a college student in Delaware and a blood gang member at the same time. And some guy, I think, like, stabbed him 4 or 5 times. So he stabbed the guy like 16 times. He was on Delaware's Most Wanted, the whole 9. But he's turned his life around tremendously, and he is the only male that has disclosed this to me, that he used to be a cutter. If you look at his forearms, you can see where he took a razor or a pair of scissors or something and cut himself. He said he said because when he cut himself, that
feel better.
Yeah, that felt better than the pain inside of his head, and I really didn't understand that. And I'll say, shout out to Jason Davis. That's my homie. Not to be confused with the homie meaning blood homie. Y'all know I'm NFL, neutral for life.
Yeah, but
that's my
dude.
If
that releases a lot of them they cut for the reason they'll tell you that it releases the pain. It feels like that some of the pain is getting out when they cut, and some of them just like to see their blood. and lets them know they're alive. It makes them feel alive, and it just makes them feel good to see the blood. So, yeah, I have a few cutters on my list.
Do you have male cutters, or is it more so a female? Because I've only heard
right
about
now,
women.
being that I'm working with all females,
Uh-huh.
I see female cutters. But some of my colleagues, we meet every Monday, and we discuss cases and what we're going through, and we just have like a little open forum amongst ourselves to get some opinions as to how to possibly proceed with the case that we have that we may be finding some difficulties with, or we share some breakthroughs that we're having within a difficult case. But there are men cut too, men and women cut.
Wow.
A lot of the cutters that I witness are those. A lot of those have personality disorders.
Well, he's
borderline personality disorders.
No, he has major. He has. I think if I'm correct, Jason, forgive me if I don't want to misquote your diagnosis. I think it's schizophrenia.
There's schizophrenia. Paranoid schizophrenia.
Yeah, paranoid schizophrenia.
Depressive type, or they could have schizoaffective, which is schizophrenia mixed in with depression and mania.
And he discussed it's now considered to be abuse, but the physical punishment that he used to receive from his father. And he said as a young man he wanted to act out. So when the United Blood Nation became prevalent in New York City, it was like, that's perfect. I want to be violent anyway. So what's a better way to be violent than to join a gang that perpetuates violence? He said that was perfect for me. That was a home. Almost like a lot of people who have what you call it? Damn it. When they basically don't have really any emotion, or they're void of emotion, or void of feeling.
Psychopath.
They will join the military so they can kill with impunity.
Yeah.
They'll wait for the time when they know it's like a war is imminent. That's the perfect time for them to enlist. So now they can go kill, you know what I'm saying, and not be charged for it. And they get that bloodthirsty satisfaction, that euphoria that some of them get from actually killing. They get it.
Yeah. They get it. And you know what? And it may sound unreasonable or somewhat insane to some, but we actually need people like that within our society.
Why so?
Because when we go to war, when we go to war with other countries, and you send those people out there, the people that really defend our freedom and keep us safe are mostly psychopaths.
Wow.
Now, just because you're a psychopath doesn't mean you're stupid. Most psychopaths are very charming,
very intelligent. Yeah,
they're highly educated, and they are very social, and they can move freely, and you won't even know they're right there with you. You think they're really cool with you, they'll cut your damn throat. But we live in a very dangerous society, and our government has to engage in activities where they need someone with psychopathic tendencies to go to another country and kill somebody.
So be
able to do this over and over.
They need because the government is a gang, and they send their gang members, the military. If y'all in the military and y'all have an issue with it, post up something that's going to prove me wrong. They send you over to other countries to invade other countries and basically suck the resources of that country dry. America has never been. There's never been in the. Let me see. I'm not gonna say never. When was the last time a war was fought on American soil?
When them gangbangers was fighting, that's what I call them.
No,
you know,
but you know what I'm saying.
When America was fighting Britain for control of the United States.
Yeah, so that was
they done killed all the Indians. I call that the Crips against the Blood. There was two gangbangers fighting, and then they said after a while the United States won, and they just went on and told Britain, well, you know what, we won. And Britain was like, you know what, y'all just hold shit down and keep it racist, keep it real and raw over there, and we're gonna handle it over here in Britain.
Exactly.
The British flag has more blood on it than the American flag. They tried to colonize the entire world, and they killed and slaughtered everybody along the way that didn't agree with them, which is the same thing that America does now, and they use people with psychopathic tendencies to do that. Territory. You need somebody to go and kill and not feel it and continuously do it. Like, did you ever watch the TV show Dexter?
Yeah.
No.
Did you have a problem with Dexter?
I didn't have a. Here's my thing. Okay, it's a TV show.
Because he was killing criminals. He was killing criminals. He was killing the bad guys.
He was killing the bad guys. And just like they said, I watched a few documentaries about Richard Koklinski. Who was the Iceman? He was a notorious murderer. Sammy the Bull, a bunch of murderers. And they one of the quotes that Sammy the Bull said was, everyday average society has nothing to worry about because we only kill each other.
Yeah. Yeah, they kill bad guys. They don't come out. They ain't gonna mess with me.
And I thought about it, but he said it's such a psychotic world that they live in that he grew up in that world. He said, but he says we're madmen. He said we're madmen. And someone questioned him being a rat. Turning on John Gotti and so on and so forth. He says, well, what makes you think if I can kill at will, like on order? He actually had his wife's brother. I mean, his wife's brother murdered because his wife's brother fell out of favor. So they said, look, so and so got to go. You're close to him. Arrange it. He killed his wife's brother. He had to console his wife. Oh my God, don't worry, we're gonna get the guy. And he was the guy that orchestrated the hit. In order for him to actually do those particular things and still sleep good and wake up every day and go about his regular business, what makes you think he cares about anybody else if it's about saving his own life or his own freedom?
You talking about Iceman, right?
No, I'm talking about Sammy the Bull.
Oh, with Sammy the Bull. Yeah, Sammy the Bull was a different cut, man.
Yeah.
A different cut. Iceman did love his kids and he loved his wife. He couldn't touch his family. But he had that same killing gene in him that Dexter had. He just had to kill.
He had to kill.
And he had a code. He had a code. He didn't go out killing regular people that wasn't doing nothing wrong. Iceman was killing other killers, gangsters, thugs.
But that's a rationale, right? That sometimes
right, and that's how they rationalize it.
So-called crazy people will be like, well, listen, we only do this to each other, but it's still taking a life. It's still committing murder. That's somebody's father, somebody's son, somebody's brother, still in all. Even if that other person was a killer. You feel me? You killing them.
Just look at how our government is killing us off as individuals. Look at all the toxins they allow to be in our food. Look at what they do. It's the same thing. You got a lot of psychopaths and sociopaths in corporate America and in politics. Do you think that allegiance is to money?
Do you think that there are sociopaths in the government?
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes.
Hell yeah. You got to be a bit
Trump.
You got to be a bit narcissistic anyway.
Trump.
You think I can run the country and everybody should follow me.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
narcissism right there. But then you also have to have that lack of sympathy in some point to say, I don't give a damn about this group of people over here. I'm going to save this group of people over here, though.
Wow.
And that's what happens. They sit in the office. It's really not so much of Donald Trump that you need to be afraid of. It's his cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
It's the people that he hired to make part of his cabinet to assist him in decision making and saying, hey, this is what we're going to try to do. Because those cabinet members sitting around thinking of ways to screw everybody, but only save the ones that they want to save.
No, but now let me inject something, right? The Trilateral Commission. I prompt people to research what the Trilateral Commission is, who are its members, and how they are elected, past and present members. Because the Trilateral Commission consists of the Asian group, North American group, and the European group. And this group of people, this commission, are essentially the people that run the world. Not Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Not Donald Trump.
No.
He gets his directives from them.
And because if Donald Trump don't do what they say, they're going to knock him off.
Exactly. So now when you think about people that are out of their goddamn mind, somewhere in some boardroom or some secret meeting, I trust that someone said, listen, we're going to bomb the World Trade Center. Mm-hmm. And somebody sitting at the table said, nigga, you crazy. You out your motherfucking mind. And they said, no, 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 no. Listen to how we're going to do it. We tried it before by putting the bombs in the basement. That shit didn't work. Look at how we're going to do it this time. Right? And what they do is they propagate a sense of sadness and sorrow annually. This is why they have a memorial. I mean, if my loved one died a tragic death, I don't want to be reminded of that shit every year. I'm sorry. I mean, I cope with it. I deal with it. But I do not want to be reminded. I don't want to relive that shit every single year. I don't want that.
Yeah, but that's part of how they keep you living in fear. And living in that fear allows them to do a number of the things they want to do. Build a wall, build more missiles, attack this country, attack that country. I know Gaddafi was not a nice guy. Gaddafi was, he did a lot of bad things. But Gaddafi made sure that everyone in Libya had running water. When you got married, the government gave you $50,000 to get your marriage started. You got help with your education. You got help with all medical stuff. But once Gaddafi started to bring other African nations together to protect Africa, they saw him as a problem. And then he took it a step further and wanted to stop trading in the dollar, but he wanted to trade in the dinar, which was gold.
Now, see,
once he did, now he messing with Rockefeller money. He messing with the Federal Reserve. He
messing with the Rothschilds.
He got to go. He got to die. Now hold on, Ty. The same thing happened when it came to Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein was America's friend for the longest.
So was Noriega. They were allies.
And so when Saddam Hussein decided that they weren't going to trade in dollars anymore, they was going to start selling their oil in euros. For euros, he had to go too. So, and then now we get back to the president's cabinet. We get back to those in control, that little 5 to 10% that you talking about, and they messing with their money. So, these are psychopaths and sociopaths. Don't give a damn about nobody but themselves and their immediate family. Just like the Iceman, he was a neighborhood killer. The Koch brothers, Koch, they killers too. They high-level killers.
Of course. Now, let me ask you a question. So, in that sense, do you think that wealth and subsequent power creates these sociopaths and psychopaths?
No, they probably were sociopaths and psychopaths already. Their method being lacking the empathy for other people and lack of concern for others' rights is what fueled them to be able to keep taking the steps forward and not give a damn about who they stepped on to get to the top. To get to the 90th floor, you had to step on some people, you had to sell some people out, and if somebody got to get killed, damn it, they got to go. That's the way it is. And corporate America is full of them. And our government is full of them. The sickest people in our society are not the people that's walking around us. It's the people that are running the country. And a bunch of them are psychopaths and sociopaths. You don't see any schizophrenics running the country.
Well, we may not see the open schizophrenia.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know that for a fact.
No. Oh no, you know that for a fact. You'll know it's a true schizophrenic if they really schizophrenic, because they're hearing voices and they're gonna start saying stuff to themselves, and they're gonna have some delusions that are just so far out that it's nowhere near real. They will expose themselves.
Well,
There's no way you could be a true schizophrenic and not expose yourself through your behavior. Now, sociopaths and psychopaths, they can hide that. They're very charming. They're very manipulative. They will say hi to you. They'll say good morning. They will help you, like you talked about the guy, helped the brother, went to, killed his brother-in-law, and came home and sat with his wife and said, baby, it's going to be all right. Now, those are the people that's running the country.
I want to ask Sandy this question.
Donald Trump.
I want to ask Sandy this question, right? Donald Trump doesn't actually run the country, but that's another story. Do you think
Congress?
Do you think it would be easier for you to fire someone on your job if you were given the directive to fire them versus you being the person seeing what they were doing as being unproductive, and you know, they didn't mesh well. You know what I'm saying, with the rest of the people that worked in the office, and you were the person that said, "Nah, they gotta go," versus someone telling you.
No, I don't. No, 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 no. I'm not going to do your dirty work.
But sometimes if your supervisor says to you, and I'm asking this question because I find it easier for some people to do something when they feel like, well, I was told to do this, versus it being something of their own volition that they're doing.
No, I get what you're saying. I don't have that type of position in my job at all.
But would you find
literally at all?
But would you find it easier if your boss told you, listen, you have to let your subordinate go? And when you sit down,
okay, it would be easier, but
because it's somebody else.
Because somebody's saying it. But my thing would normally be, okay, well, you know what? I know I have the skills that I have. I know I've been in the industry I've been in for however many years I've been in it. So no, you tell them.
But it's your job. See,
no, it's not my job.
A lot of things that happen to people, right? Specifically, their employment comes from higher ups. Like you're the one that delivers the message.
No.
But the call came from higher up.
I was told by my human resources director that it's not her job to fire. It's his job to fire.
Okay.
But it's her job to ease the process.
As a buffer?
Yeah, as a buffer.
Wow.
So no, it's not. No. So I wouldn't. That's one of the reasons I wouldn't take a human resources position. I went to college for two and a half years, and they kept saying, do human resource. No, I don't want to. No, I don't want to do that.
Because you have compassion?
I have.
Of course she does. Milo, you still there?
Yeah, I got cut off. I just had to call back.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. So, yeah, I asked that question because it takes a certain type of person to be able to fire someone and really not give a fuck. Because you're taking, you're affecting someone's livelihood.
I can't do that.
Person can be like, and I've saw people getting fired like around Christmas.
All the time in my office.
And I said, what's that sentiment like when someone is laid off around Christmas? How do you feel?
They do it all the time in my office
but then
around
just think
Christmas.
of this. Just go back to what we were talking about earlier when we was talking about childhood and the trauma that a person has in their childhood and what becomes normal to them. Maybe their mother, father, aunt, or somebody got fired around Christmas. They or just like she was just saying, she know like they do it all the time.
They really do. They really do.
So
it's horrible.
When it becomes normalized, it's easier for you to go ahead and do it too. You're like, well, yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to fire him. That's kind of screwed up. Then I'm gonna have to fire him around Christmas. But and it would be uncomfortable for me. But if it was my job to fire the person, yeah, I'd go on there. I said, well, you know what? I talked to, Todd, my supervisor today, and Todd Fountaine. Said, you take your black ass home.
Oh, you gonna make me the super? See, and that's what I was getting at. The scapegoat. Whoa. I gotta. See. Here's my thing, right, Marlon, and I'm loving this whole conversation. We tend to want to pass the buck, right? We tend to want to pass the buck because it's easier because we don't bear the burden of guilt. We don't have to look at that person packing their things up in the box, clearing out the desk, and depending upon the attitude of the person when they received this message, they went to the conference room, and now security, just in case you don't want to leave peacefully.
White people do it to black people and other minorities every day. They don't want to accept the fact that their ancestors, a large number of them, were savages. And they killed people, and they manipulated, and they go home and they sit there and they call us niggas and call us Mexicans wetbacks and all kind of stuff. And they ignore it. They bury their head in the sand, and they act like it don't exist. They don't want to admit that they're slavery. They don't want to admit, but they'll want you to look at 9/11, like you were saying earlier. Every year they want to show you that. They don't want to admit that the Confederates was wrong and what went on in the South and was wrong. They don't want to admit any of that. They don't want to admit the savagery that's been a great part of their existence. Jewish people want to act like they own and run America. They don't want to. They won't even tell you that they're from Poland. You know, they don't want to admit that they grew up eating potatoes and a lot of stuff because that wasn't much for them to eat. It's, you know, there's a lot of things that
let me ask you
contribute to white privilege.
Let me ask you a question. Even within white privilege, which does exist, is there
very much
a sense of trauma that comes along with white privilege?
Oh, man, they've been traumatized a lot. They get traumatized. Look, they get raped, murdered, and beaten, cussed out by their parents just like everybody else. But they just don't have to deal with going out and having black skin. You know, they're afforded a lot of opportunities due to their skin. White people go to therapy more than anybody.
They
know how screwed up their past is, and it has to be hard to deal with if you are a good white person. I tell you, there's a lot of good white people out there too, because we never could have gotten out of slavery without them. We never could get a lot of the things that we have now without the good white people. So we've always been outnumbered.
Milo, is there a term for a social disorder that's associated with guilt? Because when you said there are a lot of good white people, of course there are. Like one of my best friends, shout out to Stevie Rappanaro, is a straight up Italian guy, and he's one of the most honest, genuine dudes that I know, and I've known him for like maybe 20-something years, and he's one of the most genuine guys that I know. It's not a prejudiced bone in his body. He just doesn't like fucked up people. Doesn't make a difference what color you are. If you're a fucked up individual, he's not dealing with you. Whether you are Asian, white, it doesn't make a difference. Your racial composition. If you're a fucked up person, he's not dealing with you, and that's just what it is.
Well, what happens is you asked about a term for people that have been living with that guilt and all of that.
What's that called?
Depression.
Oh, okay.
And that's one of the subjects of your
depression and anxiety.
Well, he's touched on PTSD, and you're about to touch on depression, and because you know sometimes you got to keep Todd on point.
We like to go all around the corner.
Yeah, he goes all around the world.
But that's Milo did that. I mentioned one little thing, and Milo went straight political. Milo got his history book right there.
Then we came back, and then we went back to the government, and then we came back. You know, I keep trying to. I have to do this in my groups too. When I'm talking to a bunch of people, I have to bring them back to the subject. I'll drift off with you if I
you drift off with Todd. You know. So
if it's a valid point and it's something worthy of discussion, I'll drift off with you for a little while, but then eventually I'll work my way back to where we were. I do it every day in my group session.
The last part of his that he told me about the show is the defeatist attitude. What does that have to do with depression and with PTSD?
Well, that defeatist attitude has to do with the.
I don't mean to interrupt you. Milo, I don't mean to interrupt you. I had to look it up myself to make sure I knew what the meaning was. What is your definition of a defeatist attitude?
You know what? I've never looked it up, but to me, to have a defeatist attitude would be for you to ruminate in a negative space, to speak negatively of yourself, to feel less than others, to not see yourself as being able to be greater than, settling for less, never even trying to get better, you know, thinking that all you deserve is maybe a studio apartment rather than a mansion.
Okay.
To just being used to losing, so used to losing, and just knowing that you're going to lose. Or
giving up before you even start. Giving up before you even start.
Giving up before you won't even start. Yeah, because you already feel that you feel defeated. You can't win. You don't think you can win.
My definition is someone always saying, "What's the fucking point?" Basically, in any and every endeavor. In anything that you encounter, whether it's relationship, occupation, education, whatever, it's like, what's the fucking point? Because
that's part of it. But see, and within that defeatist attitude, there to me, there has to be some anxiety and depression present.
How so?
Because to feel that you're always going to lose is sad. It's a sense of worthlessness. It's a sense of hopelessness.
Yeah,
There's
I
a sense
can't
of
do it
lack of
anyway. Yeah,
right, there's
I
a
can't
sense
do
of
it
lack of
anyway.
enjoyment.
So
Yeah, you're
there's no
bound to be
confidence.
lo-
The confidence level
Yeah,
is very low
yeah,
in a defeatist
yeah,
attitude.
yeah. And see, and those things that I've just mentioned, that adds up to almost major depression. There's mild depression right there. And it only takes one more sad thing to happen before it becomes major depression, and they totally shut down and withdraw. And then there's some anxiety in there too, because if something is presented to you that could possibly propel you forward, your feeling of helplessness and worthlessness is pulling you down, and now you're anxious about it. It creates some anxiety just to be in that position. So I would see that with self-loathing, with some depression and anxiety involved in that defeatist attitude. And you'll defeat yourself. You'll lose every time.
So what's the difference between a defeatist attitude and just a negative attitude? So, I mean, I have been accused of this by my girl, Nisi. She's accused me of it 1,000 times when I was going through school. And I sit there and I say...
Did she accuse you of what? Being having a defeatist attitude or a negative attitude?
Negative attitude. Which, you know,
so
it's the same...
Were you negative all the time?
No, I wasn't negative all the time. It was like, okay, I'm going to fail this class. I'm going to fail this class. I'm going to fail this class. This class is doing this. This class is doing that. They're doing this. They're doing the other. I am so going to fail.
Use that gerbil running on that wheel.
I really was. I really was. It was horrible.
You was ruminating in negative space. Now, the difference, in my opinion, I really don't go by Webster's dictionary definition of things. It's all feelings, thoughts, feelings, and emotions for me. But for you to run in negativity, the difference between negativity and a defeatist attitude to me, a person with a defeatist attitude will not win because they won't give themselves a chance to win.
Okay.
The person that's negative, they can be ruminating in a negative space, but still possibly trying. You know, even though you say, I'm going to fail this class,
You're still going to class.
You're taking the class anyway. You probably going to fail it. There's odds are you're going to fail it, but you're still taking the class. The one with the defeatist attitude wouldn't even go to school anyway.
Okay.
Because that's what I'm doing.
Okay. I just needed that clarification for myself, because I looked it up and I thought about, you know, when I think of certain things, not a lot of things, but when I think of certain things, I put myself in its place, and I get a position that I have had pertaining to the subject, and see, okay, well, maybe that's me too.
Yeah. Well, you know what? A lot of things may refer to us, but we can't so quickly grab onto things and say, "Ooh, that's me."
Yeah.
Because when we see something that happened, we say, "Ooh, that's me." We don't know all that comes along with that. "Ooh, that's me."
Right, but
because
there's
that
also
person that you see going through it, we don't know their childhood. We don't know their experiences. We don't even know what happened right before this thing happened that we're talking about. You know, because there's a trail with that. Just like I was telling you all earlier with my patients, I can see how they got to the place they are now due to what has happened, transpired throughout their lives. You know, a lot of times we don't even know what has happened to another person, but we'll say, "Ooh, that's me." You know, and that's not you. You're an individual. You're a unique individual. You are worthy of all things. You are worthy of love, honor, respect, and abundance. And we have to approach things from a positive light. Where I am now, there's 110,000 psychologists in the United States, approximately 110,000. Approximately 4,000 of them are black.
Wait. 110,000 and 4,000 are black?
Yeah, approximately 4,000. And approximately 1,700 of them are black men. Wow. 1,500 or 1,700 of them are black men. Now, if I had a defeatist attitude, could I have done this? No. I know I'm worthy. You know, and I followed these one, and then when I would get down and I started thinking about, I would think about this man. It's from my hometown. His name is Dr. Harry Edwards. If you don't know nothing about Dr. Harry Edwards, Google him. You know, he was right there with
Edwards?
the Black Panthers. Dr. Harry Edwards.
Edwards, okay.
He's from East St. Louis, Illinois. He was right there with H. Rap Brown, Huey P. Newton, and all of them, and the Black Panthers. And he also was a consultant for the San Francisco 49ers and a number of other sporting, professional sporting teams. And he also backed up Kaepernick and what's going on. Dr. Harry has been talking about how the slave mentality has been in the sports for a long time. So whenever I would, feel like things were getting tough, and most of the time during my studies, I was the only man in the class, and I was the only black person, period. I've been around mostly for the last 6 years in my studies. Most of the people I've been around are white or have been women. So in that type of environment, I would have to be, if something was to be said about people of color in the class, I had to stand up and say it. And it puts you in a tough position sometimes. And with a defeatist attitude, I never would have been able to do that. With a negative attitude, I probably could have still done it, but that negativity would have come out in my expression in class, and odds are it would have been offensive to others. As a black man, it's tough for me to raise my voice or anything in the arena that's not black, because when I raise my voice, it scares the hell out of people.
Okay.
So it really does. A black man, you raise your voice, that scares the shit. The room shuts down. But if a white man raises his voice, oh, Jim is just a little bit upset. So
that's true. That's very true. Wow, that is very true.
He's a Jim.
Yeah, that's how it goes down.
Wow.
Upset today.
But Todd can raise his voice all he wants.
I raise my voice, they call security. So, I have to learn to express myself in a manner that is palatable to those in the room. Wow. And yeah, I'm part of a very small group now. There's approximately 110,000 psychologists out there. Approximately 4,000 of them are black, and approximately 15 to 1,700 of them are black men.
Wow.
Wow. Does that make you?
Does that make you feel like you're in an elite? Or in an elite?
Or pioneering, for that matter, too.
Yeah.
I guess I could be pioneering. I could consider myself part of a small group. I wouldn't say I'm pioneering because there's been many more that have come before me. But in my research also, I see how they kept us, society has kept us out of these positions, because in order to get into most graduate schools, there's a selection process, and they were allowed to select who they wanted to be part of their graduate school. And it was before affirmative action, they could just tell you, we don't think you fit our school. You don't fit you may fit the requirements, but you don't fit what we're promoting. You write a paper, and your paper doesn't fit what they would like to see from their students. And those are a number of things. And then they come up with the GRE, this test that you have to take before you get in graduate school. And they can exclude you that way also, because they'll say, oh, well, this amount of people scored higher at this point than you, so you can't get in. So we've been locked out a number of areas. So, and then also that's where the defeatist attitude can come in also, because the person with the defeatist attitude is going to say, why try when they're going to block me anyway?
I have heard that a lot in my lifetime.
Yeah.
My theory with that is, when I've heard things like that, and you just brought it home for me, but I've heard things like that, I've said, well, you know what? You don't know that. Just try it anyway.
Yeah. So you don't have a defeatist attitude.
Me, no.
You have a stubborn attitude.
Don't make me Todd, don't make me cuss you out on your show, okay?
Okay. Hey, look, Milo.
It won't be the first time he got cussed out.
Look, it'll be the first time he got cussed out by me.
Milo, I want to ask you a question. Right? When it comes to group think, can you break down the
And I have a question
not,
for him
not
later.
the causal effect, but what allows a person to be more enveloped in group think rather than stand as an individual? Trying to get into the psyche of people.
Well, for the most part, people are followers. You know, you have a very few people that stand alone. They're followers, and a prime example would be how people just say whatever the police do is right. How you got Trump as just a terrible human being, but how there's like 340 million people in the United States. About 150 million of them believe in Trump.
Mm.
They won't tell you. So they follow stuff like that. And they have that group mentality. People won't take the time. For the most part, people will not take the time to investigate things themselves. They'd rather go with, well, Todd said, and they'll keep roll with that.
Because there's no
Milo
accountability.
said this, and he went to school, so it must be right.
Well, it's a thing where, you know, people don't want to be accountable. Because if I stand up for something, right? Sandy and I had a disagreement, right?
Which one?
Where she said, "Why can't you just agree to disagree?" Right? And I said, "No, I will not, because that requires me to concede my point." It's already
Okay,
it's,
point
it's,
the camera. Point
the
camera at me. I gotta make my face. Put the camera at me.
Un momento. Right now, that requires me to concede my point.
No, it doesn't.
It's already established that we don't agree. That's why we're having a debate or an argument. So it's already established. Mm-hmm. So we don't have to agree to disagree. We already know that we don't agree.
Milo.
That's why we're having this continuous debate.
Milo.
You said if you agree to Todd, you said if you agree to disagree, you have conceded your point. So it's like you feel like it's almost like you feel like you lost something.
Well, not saying like I feel like I lost, saying like I ceased to further or further assert my position just because this person doesn't just un momento.
Yes, go on talk, Todd. Let her talk.
Un momento. No, you know what?
He's telling me un momento.
Y'all gonna gang up on me. See,
no.
Okay,
this is when the shit gets good.
No, Malo, let me tell you something. Malo, let me tell you something. Your wife been watching for a long time because she popped up on my screen watching, right?
Turn the camera around.
So now we gonna get. She gonna say some Spanish shit I'm not gonna understand, and she gonna get away with it. Go ahead, you talk to Malo. Go ahead.
Malo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I said to the man was, if you Milo and I Sandy are having an argument about something, there is no proof positive facts. We have our own personal ideas about something.
I gave facts.
Shut up. But this is my point. We have our own personal ideas about something. And we're not coming to a head. We're not agreeing. I said to Todd, okay, let's agree to disagree. In that, you have your point and I have mine, and we're not agreeing. This could probably be a volatile situation. Let's just leave it alone and talk about something else. Let's agree to disagree. You don't agree with me, I don't agree with you.
Milo, ask a Puerto Rican woman, why would it be volatile? See, that's the thing.
Because they'll cut you.
Yeah. Why is it?
Hey, you know what? But I understand what you're saying. When she's saying that she agree not to agree, you know. But then Todd still got to make his point.
He really does.
It's almost like, oh, you gonna agree with me, or we not gonna stop talking about it.
No, you gonna agree with me, or we not gonna do anything.
Yeah, it's gonna be a problem. I'm gonna start calling you some names or something, and that's how it becomes a volatile situation, right?
But see, my point was,
Milo, right now, Milo, you are grinning and laughing at this shit. I'm telling you.
And there are many people out there that will agree with me, male or female. You know what? If you are having an argument with someone and you appreciate that person, you love that person, you have, you know, a special place in your heart for that person, you don't want any animosity. You're obviously not going to agree on this particular subject. So you know what? Let's agree to disagree. Neither one of us are right. And move on to the next subject.
Okay.
He won't. Shut up. I'm not talking to you.
You see what you just said? She says neither one of us are right? And now she never said we're not going to agree. She has to make me not right, which is another way of saying it's wrong.
Well, you know what?
She has to make me not right.
Well, first of all, this is a study on PTSD and
wording right there. If you know, we don't. Why does one of us have to be right? Why does one of us have to be wrong? We don't both have to be wrong. It's just our opinion. And sometimes when it comes to in a conversation, as it starts to get heated or something, a lot of times it don't even need to get heated. You just say, well, I don't agree with that. And then you can move on to something else.
But he doesn't. No, Milo. He does not.
Because if
he doesn't want to.
If a person
he's like a pit bull.
If a person disagrees, just based upon it's like okay, hold on. Milo, I know you're familiar with personal. You're familiar with personal incredulity, of course, right?
Yeah.
Hold on. She said, Todd, since you told him I was listening, ask him did he make the chili?
Nah, I ain't making chili.
He said he ain't making.
I've been on the phone. All day.
Sheila, he said
about 2 hours.
Sheila, he said he ain't make the chili. He been on the phone fucking with us. You gonna get in trouble.
Look,
what's her name?
Man, I went to the
Sheila.
store.
Sheila, Tom made some good chili. We'll ship it to you.
That's his wife.
I came home and I started talking to y'all. And then I started putting the groceries up, and I got everything out that I need, but I ain't making chili. I'm in my
Sheila, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sheila, Todd makes some good chili. We can figure out how to send it to you.
Yeah, I make the bomb. Yo, Milo, I make the bomb chili. True story. True story. But you got some. Did you chop the onions and peppers yet? Nothing.
Nah,
no.
I ain't done nothing. It's all sitting out there. I ain't chopped the onions. Oh damn! I forgot to get them ribeye steaks out.
You done fuck. You done fuck. You done fuck.
Chili tomorrow. It's a wrap on the chili. Yeah, we're gonna eat chili tomorrow. But I put ribeye steak in my chili.
Oh my god!
Oh no! I've made chili with ribeye. You know what I'm saying? With ribeye before. And oh man, it's the bomb. It's the bomb.
Yeah, I put some lean hamburger meat in there with, and I put chunks of ribeye steak in there. And yeah, we're gonna have that tomorrow. I just pulled ribeyes out. You hear him hit the counter? Side.
Yeah.
It's like a brick.
Oh my God.
And I started to buy some while I was at the store. I was like, I ain't buying no ribeye steak today.
I got them.
I got about 10 of them in the freezer. Why should I buy one?
See, now this is the part where Sheila gonna look at you like, that nigga crazy. You see, he say he on the phone fucking with Todd, and then they talking they shit, but she can't say but so much because her ass is right on my timeline right now.
Hey, but you know what? It's so chill here at our house. Ain't gonna be no trip. We just gonna eat something else, and I'll get up and make it tomorrow. That's just how chill it is.
No, she can say you're gonna starve. I mean,
a lot of times
she said you're gonna starve.
Like just what you all was talking about, agreeing to disagree. We agree to disagree around here.
Thank you, Milo. Thank you, Milo. Hi, Sheila.
No, she said you're gonna starve. You're gonna starve tonight.
My favorite word is okay, cause she be talking. Todd, you know she got a mouth on her. She be talking, Todd. I'll be like, okay.
Oh my God, Milo, I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Todd, Todd get to talking. I come home from work, I'm tired. He gets home before I do. I get home, I'm tired. And all this man want to do is talk. Yo, can I please just like breathe? Okay.
Okay. So
okay.
See how she paints it like she's being stressed out? See how she been like stressed out? Now the minute she come home and I ain't got shit to say, then I'm gonna get one of them. So what the fuck is wrong with you? See?
Lies. Lies.
You know why? Because I have never done it.
Exactly.
But I know it's going to come.
No, it's not.
I spoke into existence. Listen.
Okay.
Let me ask you something, right? We got maybe 10 minutes left, right? Dealing with things.
Well, let's get back to what was your all's topic of the day?
It was PTSD, depression, and defeatist attitude.
Defeatist attitude. People that feel
From
like.
what-
We've covered all that.
Yeah, and the only thing we've covered in PTSD is that people need to realize, and I have a cousin, so people need to realize that PTSD isn't always dependent upon being in the military. And people fail to, and people. I've had people to just have arguments with me about it. No, it has PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah. And
do you know how many people got PTSD from watching the Twin Towers fall?
Yes, a lot.
It's people that won't go. It's people that won't go up in the building now because of that.
Oh, I won't go in the building. I wasn't there, but I won't go. I'm not going in the building. I went to school in the neighborhood and I saw it.
You can get PTSD from
witnessing
a crime. And then when
I'm not going in the building. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Because you know what? You always return to the scene of the crime. A criminal always returns to the scene of the crime. I am not. There is no reason for me to go into. If I had a job interview that was offering me $100,000, I'm not going into the
Because.
No, because
it's a constant remembrance or reminding.
Not even that. People return to the scene of the crime. They're still trying to do something.
Hey, I'm gonna speak. I'm gonna speak for Ty right now. They offering you $100,000. You better get your ass in that elevator. I don't want. Don't come over and tell me no.
I'm gonna give a damn.
Look, Molly, I'm a blindfold and tell us on the second floor in a slow elevator.
No, not doing it. I'm not doing it.
I'm gonna tell us it's only on the second floor.
And this is the first time I've ever said this in public. This is not a conversation that has ever come up. But I'm telling you right now, I'm an administrative assistant. I have a construction administrative assistant. I have office manager skills. And if I get another job and they offer me whatever they offer me from what I'm making now, $20,000 more than I'm making now, and it's in the World Trade Center, yeah, nah, bro, I'm good. I'm gonna stay in my job. Thank you. No, not doing it. Not doing it.
Talk about that when y'all get to it. Look, we ain't gonna start no argument. See, and this is how arguments start. Because you know how people argue about that when they go home, and it ain't even nothing else.
No, we ain't gonna argue about
it. And you ain't made no chili tonight, so you just be on some
I'm
real.
Good.
You on some real easy.
I cook around her all the time. I clean the house, man. I'm good.
You straight. You straight.
Yeah,
you straight.
We don't have no problems like that. She just stops and grab something.
No, I'm saying I'm laughing because she said, since you telling them I'm on the damn timeline, ask him if he made the damn chili. You can't make that shit up. And this is why when it comes to Straight No Chaser Talk Show, yeah, we dance all around and we
don't.
No, we do it.
But you know what she told me? But you know what? Thank you all for bringing it up because she told me if I wasn't going to make the chili, pull out 2 chicken breasts and unthaw them. So, and that's what I'm getting ready to do now. They'll be unthawed by the time she get home.
No, you mean thaw them. The unthaw them is the freezer. You mean thaw them out. The unthaw them is the freezer. The thaw something out is unfreeze it.
I'm about to put them in this water. They're going to loosen up. It's 4:45 here. I'll be able to put them in the.
That's right, y'all in California.
They're 3 hours ahead.
Y'all
3 hours behind, yeah.
But see, okay, here's the thing about Straight No Chaser Talk Show. In everyday conversations, right, people tend to veer off to the left or right in every, like whatever your emotion carries you, that's what happens. Oh, she says she's 5 minutes away. She's talking to you through us, Marlo.
Mama, you gonna have to order takeout, boo.
Yeah, she says,
What's her name?
None. I'm tight as I am.
Sheila, you gonna have to order takeout, boo boo.
Hey, yo, Molly, this is why I want to ask you, how's that spot Maverick's Flat? We always see that shit on what's the name? What's that joint with the girl?
It's I've gone down there. I've only been there once in my lifetime, but it's real popular for comedians and stuff. It's down in the hood.
Okay.
You can go down there, and it's straight no chaser down there. So it's
No, I'm saying no.
cool.
Last time I was in California, me and my best friend T went, and we hooked up with Jeff Brown. We was at the Conga Room. We was at we was in Long Beach at some obscure joint. Jeff Brown directed it. He was our tour guide. He directed us. We was in Long Beach. We were in we was all over that movie. We was all over. I used to love the Jerry's Deli by the Beverly Center, but I heard that they closed down. I was like, what?
Yeah, I think they did.
Oh,
I think they did.
Oh, man.
We about 50 miles outside of the city now. I'm not down in L.A.
Oh, you outside of L.A.?
Yeah, I'm outside L.A. I'm about 50 miles from downtown L.A.
Okay, so about 25 minutes, by the way, Sheila Drive.
By the way, Sheila Drive,
Yeah, about
40
20
minutes.
about 25 minutes, right?
Yeah, about 40 minutes.
Oh.
It depends. If ain't no traffic, we be rolling out.
Oh, okay, I got you.
She'll be here. She'll be here in a minute. I'll put the chicken breast in the sink. That's what we're gonna end up having tonight. If we don't have that, just eat something else. And that's one of the things.
Sheila said ghetto as hell. No, Sheila said ghetto as hell. You try to put it mild. She said,
yeah, you know what? And see, somebody can be ghetto and go sideways, but you need one person that's gonna stand there and say, okay, well, this is what we're gonna do. And then if you don't agree with that, then we're gonna agree to disagree.
Okay, thank you, Milo. Milo, I have to ask you a question. Milo, I have to ask you a question.
Shout out to Sean Bell. Shout out to Sean Bell, Blacker.
Hey, Blacker. Milo, how long have you been married?
I've been married almost 3 years now.
Oh, really? How long have you been together?
She's been together about 5 years or so.
Oh, what? I asked him. I didn't ask
I remember when they met.
Shut up.
Yeah, but we
I warned them.
We met on Facebook.
I warned you. I warned you, and you fell for the Venus flytrap. I warned you. I said, that woman crazy, Milo. I'm telling you. Then y'all announced the shit, and everybody was like,
you fell for the Venus flytrap.
but Milo, why are you laughing for?
I know that Venus flytrap. It's a Venus flytrap like the red snapper.
Oh man, look, she like Erica Badu. I'm gonna wear a dashiki and a yarmulke at the same time.
Oh shit.
But
I forgot the damn question.
No,
I really forgot the damn question.
She's gonna ask you a question and forgot the damn question.
I really did.
Oh, okay.
I like the answers. I didn't ask the question.
Okay, this is an example of what going out of your mind is, because I didn't title the video "Crazy" because I thought that would be offensive. I titled it "Going Out of Your Mind" or "Going Out of Our Mind" or "My Mind," whichever one it was, because I wanted to illustrate. Let me bring it back full circle because we only got a few minutes left. I wanted to illustrate and have a discussion about how we as normal people, everyday people, can go through certain situations and nobody knows what we went through. So we will be diagnosed as you're this, you're that, without any prior knowledge of what brought us to that point. And if a person really understood what we've been through, what we've experienced, then they wouldn't be so critical. Now, you can be judgmental, because to be judgmental just means you assess. You feel me? You determine how certain things are. But people wouldn't be so critical and so quick to condemn people such as myself, Sandy, Milo, Sheila, anybody else that's listening, and in terms of, oh, you're this, you're that, trying to stand on a pedestal, trying to make themselves seem so elevated because they haven't made the same mistakes. The same mistakes that we may have made. And so I think it's always a productive conversation when we veer off, because there's certain aspects of craziness and dysfunction in every aspect of life. So when you touch on the funny things, the humoristic things about life, and, we're not robots, we're humans. This is not one of them shows where we just, do the paint by the numbers thing. We don't do that. We veer off and we come back, and we have fun. And
I only have one thing to say. With the term normal and with the term crazy, they're all relative. There's no such thing as normal, and there's no such thing as crazy. I take offense to somebody saying, well, that's normal, or you're crazy. No, I'm not crazy. Maybe I have
your thoughts are just different from someone else's, and it's okay if your thoughts are different from someone else's. And that's where it comes in, agree to disagree. That comes right into there.
You know what,
Thank you, Milo.
You know, Milo. Listen, we got. Thank you, Milo. We got 5 seconds. Thank you, Milo, for calling in.
Milo,
hey,
you a good man.
We out the door. Thank y'all. Love y'all.
I'll let y'all. All right.
Gotcha.
Thanks, man. Peace.